In this video, we're going to be setting up SEO configuration, as well as adding in tabs to the article page on the Filament admin panel. So let's get started with that now. All right, let's get started with creating some tabs in here on our article resource. So if we go into our article resource, list articles, in here, we should be able to create a function which will so let's call this get tabs. And in this case, we want to pass through an array. We want to turn an array here. We want to have all, which is going to be set to tab. And in this case, we want to import this from here. So let's go ahead and say make all posts. Actually, let's go ahead and try to use the other. So if we go into our tabs component, we have this one which is deprecated, and then we have the option to select one that's not deprecated. So let's go ahead and select that. Let's go ahead into our page now and take a look. So let's go ahead and now create one that's called publish. In this case, we want to have tab, make, publish. In this case, modify using query using, and we want to have a function in here with a query. Return, and in this case, we're going to check where status is the same as, and we can use our article status publish. And we have no published ones. And we also want to go ahead and make one for. So in here, we just want to have this set to draft. And you see one of them we set to draft, the rest of them we haven't set. So the only other thing we could do is inside to create add extra info to the articles component. While it can be nullable, let's set the default article status. And for now, that would actually then allow us to go ahead and check this out in the database. If we go back in to our wire content, into articles page, we can go ahead and set all of these here to draft and one of them to publish. And there we go. Now we can actually separate these by tabs as well, which is quite convenient. So let's go ahead and allow the user to now customly specify in here the status of the article. All right, let's go into our article resource and inside essentially add in a select component. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this status. We're going to have options in here, and let's see if we can get them specified a bit more neatly by using the article status values. And let's go ahead and make this searchable. While the search functionality may not be needed here, it's still very convenient to just have the ability to search if you have a lot of options. And it does seem like it then ends up creating duplicates here. So let's just leave it like this for now. So I could go ahead and change head in here, and I want to have a select column make, and we want to call this status. So we want to basically just have this exactly like this one here. Although we could add this to the end, which so we now have the option here to select the status, and instead of saying default, let's just go ahead and say, in this case, we want to essentially get the select the value already. So I'm just gonna leave the default out for now. And this doesn't seem to work fully, so let's go ahead in here and see if we can just go ahead and say draft. In this case, it's going to be equal to article status draft. And let's go ahead and make sure we have this other one here. We can fix this later on and actually make a function for this, but for now I'm just gonna leave this out like it is. There we go. So later on we can make this a bit more convenient, and we're now able to actually change the status on the go in here. We have the categories as well, and that now allows us also filter through this tab up here, so that's great. All right, let's go ahead and copy this here and add this in here, but we're going to call this select filters. And now we can also filter in here by, for example, draft or publish, which just gives us a few more options. So with that sorted now, let's actually just create a function here so that we can essentially just get all the values from the enum instead of having to rely on, in this case, an issue with. We just want to go ahead and rely on the enum. So if you have more options in the database, we always have the enum instead of having to add all these in manually in 3 different places. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go back into article status. And in this case, I want to have a public static function in here, which we're going to name options. And in here, we want to return and for now, let's go ahead and say self cases. And then after this collection, let's go ahead and say map with keys. And let's go ahead and make a shorthand function for this actually. So I'm going to add this to a new line. We also want to get all of them. So I'm going to go ahead. In here, we want to have the value and then the name. And in this case, let's have this as an str title case name. Just like that. So let's go back in here and see if we can just go ahead and say article status. This would only be for the table so far. So let's see what this looks like. there we go. Now we're able to change them on the go, and all we have to do is call a helper function called options, and we're just mapping them with keys essentially instead. So let's just test this out on all the pages here, just to make sure that it works. Here we should just be able to select the status, and we should be able to go in here and say publish, for example. Let's go ahead and edit one actually instead of creating a whole new one. There we go. So now we're able to essentially just get all the options neatly displayed in an add this as array because we are getting all after this, so this won't be a collection at the end of it. And now we can essentially just go ahead and have tidied up our class. We don't have to have an array in here. Instead, whatever we have specified in here, all the cases, will automatically be added in here regardless of how many extra you may add in the future. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make a tab in here using the forms component tab. And actually, we're going to get the tabs component first. Let's go ahead and get started with tabs component. And in this case, I'll just go ahead and put in the schema. In here, we want to have another tab. Content. And we want to have schema in here. So for now, I'm going to just go ahead and copy all of this into an array. And you see we have this now. And then let's go down here to the bottom. And we got a full size here. And I'm going to go in and now make a few more tabs here. So let's go in and have a tab in here. And let's have one for SEO. For now, we have nothing in there, but that's fine for now. Outside of that, we also just want one for now, which we're gonna call media, and let's add schema in here. So for now, we just want to have the media ID in here. Let's head into the plugin page. And let's download this SEO package. All right, so with that installing, it's cool. Use has SEO. And then we should just be able to pass through SEO make. So if we go back in here, let's just say SEO make, import class, and let's go ahead and make sure we might. It's also based upon the Laravel SEO package. So that's another thing to find interesting here. So it provides the title author description as well. And let's take a look in here. You can see we have this ability now. information and add the media in. So if you take a look inside here, you can see we have just the relevant articles information. Let's click into PHP Arts Inventor Publish, and let's find the SEO package, and we can see we have the SEO migrations, and let's migrate those. There we go. So if we head back into our place now here, we should hopefully be able to just go ahead, add in an existing article here, add in the SEO title, and let's take a look in the database. There we go. So this now connects to this model here, and it also have other relevant information. Super easy way to just add in the SEO, the description, the title. So this is gonna be the title that we would display as the page title in case you want a different article title / page title. Sometimes you may have the need for that. And then we have the media in here, which we can then neatly edit if we need to. So we now have all of this set up in here. Let's inside our application. So basically, because this is based upon the Laravel SEO package, what we should be able to go ahead and do is go in here. We should just be able to add it in. So let's take a look at how we can add this into our models. All right, so what we should be able to do is actually just have inside our app plate, just be able to add in this SEO part here. So let's go back into application. So we have added SEO in here for the test one. So let's go ahead and have the sci file open here. And let's go ahead and inspect Element. We got the title here, so we actually got that duplicated. And we also in this case got the OG title for Twitter, the URL. We got, I think, description in here as well. So let's see if we can find that. So we got the Twitter card, the summary. So yeah, we got a lot of the relevant information in here. So we also got the robots part set in. So I think the only other part we need to see if we can get set in is basically just the description in here. So what we should be able to do now is go ahead and if we're on an article page, we want to display this, and if we're not, we want to check that. So I think we can just go ahead and say if current route name in this case is article.show, we will show this. Otherwise, we should show the regular title. So let's go ahead and see how this looks. Perfect. If we go back to the home page, we have this here. So we now are able to essentially display that here. And we can also add an image here if we wanted to. So we're gonna take a look at how we can actually do that, because we need to essentially pass that through to our SEO pack. So let's head into our code editor again. And let's head into article model. So I think we can go in here and we can just basically dynamic SEO data. We will turn SEO data in here. And let's make sure we also import the relevant part in here. So this is everything that's imported up here. Description based on tip tab editor, or we could get it based on the SEO. But for now, let's just see how this looks. So for now, we actually have the ability in here then to see the same information, I think. So let's go ahead and see if we can. So let's head into our SEO config file. I think we need to publish that as well. So let's go ahead and see. In here, you can see we have all the configuration we need here, including adding in, for example, Twitter username, the fallback author. So in this case, for example, I'll just go ahead and put my name in here. Homepage title, and so on. All right, so let's see if we can get anything else done here now. So to get this data pass through, what we will have to do is we'll have to go into our app.blade.php file, and in here we can then say SEO for, and we need to specify the model. So in this, however, we're currently unaware of anything else. So if we head into our app.blade.php file, let's see if we can just, for now, without the show, just go ahead and see if we can print out the parameter slug. So let's go back in here. Okay, so we're still not getting that. So if we could try ahead and maybe diagram down. Actually, let's put that into the diagram bit. I think we can also just use the DD actually. So let's go ahead and just see if we can get, in this case, the current parameter. Currently, it just seems to be null. And if we are back in here, let's see if there's another way we can get this information. So what we actually need to get is article, not slug. So if we go back in here, you can see we have the article attribute here. So what we can go ahead and do to be always in the article show page here, we can go ahead and say for article. tend to read image or no. Okay, so that's something else to work on. At least we now know that we have in here, we have image. And if we go back into how we retrieve the image in article.blade, article image path. So let's go ahead in here and just diagram on that. There we go. So I think it's just because we have prefix article ahead, which we didn't need to do. So if we go back in here now, control over the title, and we should also have image in here. There we go. So let's see if that works. Yeah, it does. Perfect. So that's essentially what we wanted to do with this information we get through. And you now have full control over that. So you can pass through the author, you can pass through the title, and I'll leave that to you to determine what information exactly you want to pass through to the SEO, but now that's under your control. So that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.